Who here considers themselves a leader?
I knew that to maintain my integrity as a leader,
characteristics of leaders
I had to take responsibility.
who are thriving and what they do differently.
Welcome to the Everyday School Leadership Supported podcast series. My name is Fran Palokaj, and in this series, I speak with school leaders from across Europe about a variety of topics based on research cards developed by Loes van Wessem, Rieneke Pruis, and others. These research cards function as practical tools that you can use to tackle everyday challenges within your organization. So, welcome everyone to another episode of the ESHA podcast. And today we are going to be talking about the development and the learning of teachers. Teachers are arguably the people that have the most impact on the learning of children. And in order for them to be more effective at teaching, they need to continually keep learning and developing. Or in essence, they need to be the student as a teacher also. I'm joined today by Neus and Claudi. Neus, you are the principal of a school. Claudi, you are the director of the local area.
Catalan government.
Yeah. So maybe, Neus, we can just dive right in with the question for you. How well do you think your school is adapted to helping teachers developing themselves? How well do you think that's going?
Well, I think we are doing quite well. We try to develop the knowledge and the skills of the specific subjects that our teachers teach, or the specific fields of study. But we also try to develop their transversal competences. I am a principal at a vet training center, so this is very important in vet training centers because we have to offer our students services related to entrepreneurship, orientation, innovation, European mobility, things like this. So what we've done with our teachers is that we've tried to set the proper conditions so that they can develop their own competences in these transversal competences. Of course, they also develop their knowledge in the skills related to their areas, their specific fields of study, and we also try to organize this for them. I mean, we have a training plan based on a needs analysis, and we try to raise all these things that they need to be trained in, and that helps us and helps them to identify what they really need.
And you mentioned you set the proper conditions. What would those proper conditions entail for you?
Yeah, proper conditions for me would be, the time frame, the way we organize our staff, Imagine, for example, in Catalonia, in the place where I live, our teachers have to teach they have to stay at the school for 24 hours, okay? So they teach 19 hours, but then there is a gap between the 19 hours and the 24 hours, so it makes 5 hours, where teachers have to be at the school. Usually, during these hours, they have meetings, but we try to keep at least 3 of these hours for them to work on a specific area, okay? And the good thing is that they can choose which area they want to work on, okay? For example, imagine that they are keen on entrepreneurship. So these 3 hours a week, they can devote their time to work on this area, on these specific competences, either by training, by joining networks of other teachers in the region, either by preparing services for the students, or either by sharing knowledge with other teachers, or sharing knowledge or sharing good experiences. So these 3 hours, the good thing is that we have these 3, 4, 2. It depends. It depends on the position of the teacher, because maybe he's a tutor and he needs to invest more time in the tutorship. So it depends. But we try them to have a space so that they can devote their time to developing these competences. There are other things that I could mention. For example, the fact that having them working on these specific areas and joining other teachers at the school makes them to become coordinators of these teams, and in a way they feel like leaders in their own areas, and that's good. That's good for them.
And then do they have to deliver some sort of proof or some sort of competency for their work? Or are they also then fully autonomous?
They are quite...
Like, hey, you just do your...
Yeah, but we have... we encourage them to work on a goal-driven basis, okay? So at the end, they have to show that, that we have to comply with the goals that at the beginning of the school year we have set among all of us, okay? So then I don't mind if they stay the 3 hours in the school working every week. I don't mind this. If they want to do that at home, for me, it's okay. I mean, it's flexible because I know that when we want to organize or they want to organize something at the school, let's imagine an entrepreneurial week, for example, and then they have to organize it. Obviously, 2 or 3 weeks before the entrepreneurial week, there is a lot of work. I mean, organizing everything, keeping track with the people who's coming. Attendees, attendance, the people, the speakers, okay? But then once the entrepreneurial week is finished, they maybe will have 2 or 3 weeks where they won't be doing anything, you know? So the thing is that we want them to produce and to offer services to the rest of the school, to the rest of the staff, but mainly to the students, because our students are VET students. And as VET students, obviously they need services like knowing how to become an entrepreneur, or services like participating in mobility projects, or going abroad on an internship, or being oriented properly, you know. So there are a lot of services that they need. We cannot offer these services if our teachers are not competent on them, you know. So that I would say that flexibility is what would describe what we do. Goal-driven, work on a goal-driven basis, and flexibility. I think these 2 conditions are very important.
Yeah, so you go for the goal, but you do it in your own way.
That's it, yes.
Yeah. And for you, Claudi, what do you think are good conditions for a teacher to develop themselves?
Okay, it's quite an interesting subject. As a responsible for education in our Catalan government here in Lleida, I would say we have a wide and varied training offer related to fundamental aspects of curriculum, school organization, above all, innovation programs such as project-based learning or digital competence. Also, we think it's more important to try to promote the school's autonomy so that they could identify their own training needs, as Neus has said. Consequently, we attend to demands and we try to put at their disposal the necessary means for their development.
And maybe also to tie back into what Neus just said about the goals and the autonomy, how do you think the balance between intrinsic motivation for the teacher is versus the balance of extrinsic motivation? So to what regard do you ask the teacher to develop themselves, basically? And to what regard do you as an outside force maybe ask or force them to develop?
First of all, I would like to say that it's important to take care of, I think it's called hygienic factors that often become development threats of teacher internal motivations, such as working condition related to schedule, salary, service assignments, etc. To promote internal factors, it's also important to give teachers a leading role in a participation in a planning of the different educational projects. That is, we must work to promote more distributed leadership in our schools. On the other hand, as an external factor, from my point of view, it would be convenient to give more importance to training in development of teaching career and increase its recognition with job improvements, as I said, such as salary or destination priority.
Yeah, and how would you facilitate more of that decentralized leadership?
We try to work this with teams, with the school leaders, and it's an important aspect that we try to develop in our schools.
And Neus, was there something You also came here on a trip to the Netherlands where you saw some schools. I think you've probably seen many schools in your life. What is something that you've seen somewhere, what you would really like to implement in your organization? Something that another organization did really well that you maybe want to implement in your organization?
Well, that's a difficult question. I mean, you always get things from the visits to other schools. I don't think now I can't come up with something specific. I always like the distribution of spaces in some other countries where there are flexible classrooms with different possibilities to organize the classroom, the spaces. Also, we've seen also many other things related to virtual reality that we could see in the international school when we visited it. So it was you always take something that you can carry to your place, to your school, but it's very important to get it contextualized. I mean, you cannot copy everything you see. You have to realize that changes come from a very internal thought and a very internal discussion with the staff, and see if they are really ready for those changes and if those changes really apply to your context.
And if we would imagine now, you would sit together with your staff and you would try to share with them the importance of them developing themselves. What sort of thing would you say to them?
I would like them to know that we are open. I would like them to express themselves and say what they would like to be organized. But I think that we've already done that with our staff. I mean, we really know how we want to be organized so that they can make the most of their professional development. Okay, so. For example, I think it's very important that, as I said before, the shared leadership, but also I think that it is very important to be rewarded. I mean, to be recognized. Our teachers, if they are leaders in one area, maybe they can take a post. I mean, they can be promoted inside the school, but not only inside the school. If they are competent in this area, they are also recognized all over the region. I mean, because other teachers, other schools see what we are doing, okay? And that's a sort of prize. And it's the same like in participating, for example, in innovation projects. How do you encourage teachers to participate in innovation projects? Well, if there is an innovation competition, and that there is a reward there, and there is a recognition for the teacher and for the school. And I think that's a win-win situation. So I think that they like this way of development, of being able to develop their competences. So far, there's been a very important discussion in our school about this, and I think that what they would say would be that it's all right for them what we are doing, because we have created the environment and the context to be able to do this.
And Claudi, correct me if I'm wrong, but I assume you also speak to directors of many schools or principals of many schools. What do you say to a principal when you have the idea maybe the teachers in the school aren't developing enough? How would you have that conversation? How would you, what kind of questions would you ask them, or what kind of advice would you give them?
I often likes to remember them that according to lots of studies, after family sociocultural background, teaching quality is the second factor that has the most important impact on the student's education. So, in order to have a quality educational system, it's necessary to be able to select the suitable professionals and provide them with the best initial and permanent training. So we could offer, as I said, the highest quality educational service. In this sense, I tell them also now that we're trying to put into practice during 41 years a new induction teachers training program, similar to that ones that the doctors, the medical system, similar to the medical system. It's a good model, and we know that we need to invest more money in this field, and also, as we have said, to improve the ways that we can encourage and facilitate teachers' training initiatives in our own schools.
Okay, so maybe to summarize it all, we want to be goal-oriented, flexible, and then facilitate the teacher in their own path. Sounds very similar to probably how the children are then guided by the teachers. Maybe before we round up, you want to share where people can find you online, when they can contact you?
In the web page, in gencat.cat, they can follow us and they can see all the things that the government makes in order to improve our educational system.
Thank you. And Neus?
Well, I belong to Escola del Treball. That's a vet training center in Lleida. So the webpage is www.escoladeltreball.cat. But you can also follow us on social media. We are in all social media, and it's ET Lleida. Okay, ETLLEIDA.
Perfect. And I will also put those in the show notes.
Okay.
Thank you both so much for taking the time.
Thank you,
And
Frank.
I wish you good luck with your development.
Thanks a lot. It was nice speaking to you.
You can visit esha.org/headstart for more information on the research cards and the guests of this episode. This podcast was an Esha production. Thank you for listening and have a wonderful day.